Symmetries and patterns in nature. Symmetry is the quality of something that has two sides or halves that are the same or very close in size, shape, and position. Let us emphasize these phrases. The line that serves as the mirroring line is called the line of symmetry or axis of symmetry. On the figure on the right, you see a parabola opening upwards. What you see on the left is also on the right. They are mirror images of each other through the line of symmetry. Now, there are two main types of symmetry. The first one is the bilateral symmetry. It occurs in objects that have two sides that are mirror images of each other. Here in bilateral symmetry, there is only one axis of symmetry. For example, the body of a normal human being exhibits bilateral symmetry. So, bilateral symmetry just simply states that if you cut the object into two, through the line of symmetry, what you get on the left will be the same as the right. There are people who have perfectly symmetrical shape, but most of us do not have perfectly symmetrical shape. Next, in architecture, bilateral symmetry can also be seen in architecture due to its aesthetic. Here, we can cut this or draw a line here, and you will see that what you get on the left side is also on the right to maintain balance. For some organisms like butterflies, dragonflies, bees, tiger, lion, and flies, exhibit bilateral symmetry also. Next, radial symmetry. Radial symmetry occurs in objects wherein there is a center point and numerous lines of symmetry that are formed with equal angular intervals. Here on the figure, you see what we call a polar rose, which is being discussed in analytic geometry. Take note that we have here how many petals? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 petals. And then we can actually draw a line here, invisible line. Okay, and this one is the angle. And this angle is equal to this, to this, to this, to this, to this, and here. So they are all equal to each other. For the radial symmetry, the difference is that there is a center point. In this case, this one is your center point. And then we are going to replicate the petal into how many? Depending on the angle here. That is radial symmetry. Now, you may think that we can cut this petal into two, just like this one. Why is it not bilateral symmetry? Because take note that there will still be symmetries here. There will still be many symmetrical points here. For example, this one, you may use this one as your replicator. So if you replicate it radially, this is the replica of that pink segment. And then this. Okay, do you understand? You can also use this color blue as the axis of symmetry. That is also a line of symmetry. And also this one and also this one because you can rotate them. Okay, so that's why this is not under bilateral symmetry. Examples of radial symmetry: starfish. Okay, we can draw a center point here, and then although imperfect, it shows radial symmetry. Citrus, this one, you can definitely the center of it. One slice of this one, when replicated, will make up this, a slice of a lime. Pizza, one slice, when you replicate it through the center, then you will get the same. You will get the entire pizza. Now, for the discussion questions, is symmetry important? If yes, why and how? I want you to reflect on these questions and realize for yourselves. Why is symmetry important? If it is, why and how? First, is symmetry important? If yes, why and how? Number 2, at which instance or instances does not having symmetry become disadvantageous? Next, patterns. By definition, a pattern is a repeated form or design, especially that is used to decorate something. Here in the bottom part of the slide, I put some graphics from Frieze. You will see patterns here that are repeated, just like this one. This one is replicated in this manner. Another definition, a pattern is the regular and repeated way in which something happens or is done. So meaning to say, this is not only limited to arts. You can say that it can be for behavior, for movements, that can be called a pattern. Third, a pattern is a shape or model that is used as a guide for making something. There are 3 types of patterns. First, geometric patterns or patterns of shapes. Second, patterns of change. And third, numeric patterns. These are some of the examples of geometric patterns or patterns of shapes that can be seen in nature. First, we have the Mayon volcano. This one exhibits bilateral symmetry. Chocolate hills, iguana, trees, and flowers. You will see some patterns there. First example of geometric patterns are fractals. Fractal is a geometric shape in which each part has the same statistical character as the whole. So when you say statistical character, it means that when you zoom in to the figure, it will look similar to the entire image when zoomed out. So if I zoom this in, it will still look like an individual snowflake, won't it? That is what we call a fractal. Another example is this one. Here, trees, and then the zoomed in pigments of a leaf. And also these. This one is similar to the church. And then here we have the electrical conductance. Next, Frieze patterns. Frieze patterns consist of repeated copies along a line of a single figure or block. Frieze patterns are formed by functions or actions on the plane that preserve distances. These functions are called isometries. Isometry, in simpler terms, is transforming a figure by copying, rotating, or moving it at a distance without changing the size of the original. Alright, so you will see here that letter B, when you flip it around horizontally, you will get letter P. And then if you flip P vertically, you will get Q. And then if you flip letter Q horizontally, you will get letter D. Now, there are 6 types of Frieze patterns. First, we have identity, rotation, translation, horizontal reflection, vertical reflection, and glide reflection. First, identity. It is the object itself. Identity. Number 2, rotation. Take note that the flower here, when you rotate it along or about this point, you will get this vertical clover here. Correct? So in rotation, you go about a particular center point and then you rotate it. If you have here something like, if the flower is here, then that is also a rotation. Okay? Third, translation. Translation is simply moving the object. So here I translated this clover twice. So first, and then this one is translated to this one, copied by translation. Fourth, this should be fourth already. Fourth, horizontal reflection. So this is the kind of flipping the image with respect to a horizontal line. Okay, if I have here letter A, the horizontal reflection of this one is this. Fifth, we have vertical reflection. So just like the horizontal reflection for this, we flip the image vertically. Okay, so we rotate this and then it becomes like this. This is the reflection of the original. And sixth, we have the glide reflection. It is a combination of reflection and translation. The reflection here can be horizontal or vertical. That is what we call a glide reflection. Now, for your practice, determine which isometry or isometries is or are used for the following images. These are examples of graphs that exhibit Frieze patterns. For this, these are copied by translation, however, the colors are different. And also this one, translation. Actually, everything is translated, right? So this one is copied here and here and here. So these are further examples of the Frieze patterns according to the International Union of Crystallography. Next, let's have tessellation. A tessellation is an arrangement of shapes closely fitted together without gaps or overlapping. This one, the figure below, this one is a tessellation. When you go to a bookstore, you will see the pens stacked up. This one generates a tessellation. Now, the most important thing about recognizing patterns in nature is for you to predict what's next, or in order for you to understand the behavior of something. So when you see or when you recognize the pattern, then you will have an idea what it is or how something behaves. In logical reasoning, by intuition, an individual can guess what the next object will be in a pattern through logical reasoning. Now, can you guess what's next here? You may answer on the comment section. Now, let's move to the next type of patterns, the patterns of change. In math, the patterns of change in math describe how quantities or sequences evolve, ranging from constant rate or non-constant rates, where change itself changes like increasing or decreasing, and even alternating or complex patterns, revealing fundamental mathematical rules leading to calculus for continuous change. For example, number 1, velocity describes how distance changes with time. If car A, the velocity of car A is 80 kilometers per hour, and then car B, 60 kilometers per hour, and then after an hour, car A becomes 100 kph, kilometers per hour, and then car B, 20 kilometers per hour. What did happen to both cars? Car A sped up while car B slowed down. Okay? Number 2, population exponential growth. This one has a formula. P of t, the population at that time, is equal to the initial population times E, the natural base. We'll talk about this later. Raised to R times T. R is the rate and T is the time. Third, supply and demand in economics. You know that when there, you know the pattern of supply and demand. If the supply is high, the demand would go low. Similarly, if there is a scarcity such that the supply is low, the demand will be high. Fourth, weather patterns. Fifth, planting and agricultural fourth, weather patterns. And fifth, last but not the least, planting and agricultural patterns. For your group activity, take a picture of exactly 10 items each inside your house or anywhere in your surroundings that show